right. Hello. How are you today? So, we're going to get started with the emotional freedom technique to support you with feelings of overwhelm, overstress, and help you really reclaim your energy. My name is Brittany Cano. I'm the founder of Holistic Nurse Coaches. We help women step out of survival mode and return to a grounded place that you've been craving. I'm a registered nurse and also holistic wellness coach, and I really help my clients bridge emotional healing and physical restoration through evidence based holistic care. So I work a lot with high achievers, professionals, caregivers, moms who have been taking care of everybody else. And then by the end of the day, have no energy for themselves, but they're ready to shift that. They're tired of feeling anxious, fatigued, disconnected. And really, the work we do together supports you in true healing, returning to safety, getting deep rest, self trust, nervous system regulation, and really enjoying life more. So, we really focus on you as a whole person. So, your physical health, your emotional, mental health, your relationships, work life balance, your spiritual life. And really, we work for a sustainable approach so that you feel calm and centered and get to enjoy yourself. So, without further ado, we're going to go ahead and dive on in. The topic of burnout, if you've been following me for a while, you know is near and dear to my heart because I experienced it. And I see so many hardworking, overgiving women who are in the midst of burnout. And we know that you don't have to stay stuck there. And I believe that when we find ourselves in burnout, it can be one of the biggest gifts if we choose to look at it that way. And so today, what we're going to do, we're going to talk a little bit more about the biology of burnout and stress. And then we're going to do a practice, emotional freedom technique. I love this practice. So make sure you stay to the end. If you have any friends or family who you know are just under a lot of pressure, under a lot of stress, feeling overwhelmed, go ahead, tag them, share this video with them. So, as I mentioned, I know a lot about burnout because I experienced it and I didn't even know that that was what was going on. And I didn't even, if you would have asked me while I was in the midst of my burnout, if I was burned out, I would have told you absolutely not. But now I know otherwise. So, burnout's really not just emotional fatigue, although that is an aspect of it. Things become harder. Maybe we don't care as much. Maybe we're dealing with increased anxiety, but there's also a biological function to it as well. And so sometimes the mind may be telling you, you need to be doing more. We're not doing enough. When truth be told, you're doing way more from an empty cup and your body is paying for it. So what happens is we get stuck in survival mode, right? Constantly working, constantly giving, constantly doing, and we disconnect from ourselves. And we can find ourselves in a place where our health is really taking a hit as a result of that. Our relationships can take a hit as a result of that. And our relationship with ourselves really suffers because at the end of the day, we have no energy for ourselves. And we might also go to unhealthy coping skills to try to combat that constant state of survival. So, whether that's to maybe drink a bottle of wine or go shopping in excess or lash out at your family or maybe use other substances. We can even go to work to try to fix the feelings of burnout, thinking that that's going to help us, but it's not, right? There's a solution though, so that's the good thing. So, what happens when we're in burnout? The HPA axis, it's the brain stress circuit. It releases cortisol continuously. It throws off our sleep. It can throw off our blood sugar levels. It can cause increased inflammation. It can throw off our hormones when we're in this state of fight, flight, or freeze. Also, it affects our digestion, it affects our metabolism. There's a very strong link with immunity. So we might find ourselves feeling exhausted. We might find ourselves getting sick more. And we might, even though we're tired, we can be wired and it can be difficult to rest. If you're somebody who like, I can't sit still, that could also be a sign that your nervous system's out of whack. because of the effects on the immune system from that chronic stress, right? From being burned out, it does increase our inflammation levels, which can cause all kinds of different symptoms, whether that's brain fog, whether that's aches and pains, whether that's difficulty losing weight. I already mentioned digestion issues. Our autoimmune can be all over the place and flare ups, those kinds of things. Also, as I always say, when our emotions are high, right? Think when we're in burnout, when we're overly stressed, when we are just at the end of our rope, when our cup is empty, our intelligence is low. When emotions are high, intelligence is low. So our really bright thinking brain, our creativity, all of those things start to go offline because we're trying to conserve energy, right? So we can end up feeling hopeless. We can feel like there's something wrong with us. We can feel like, what's the point? Everything just feels a lot harder. Maybe you're dealing with anxiety. Maybe you're exhausted all the time, or maybe you can't sit still or rest at all, like I already mentioned. So, any of these signs and symptoms are things for us to pay attention to, right? They're things for us to start to lean into ourselves and get to know what's going on, what do we need, how do we shift out of survival mode, how do we come back to ourselves. And I always like to bring it back to why, right? When we're somebody who is taking care of somebody that we love so much and nobody else is going to do it, or we have to work to pay our bills. Your kids rely on you, maybe your spouse relies on you, maybe your parents rely on you. It's not like you can just stop. So, to change things, right, to do what it takes to get out of this for yourself, you really get to connect to why this is important to you. Personally, why does this matter to you that you have peace? Why does it matter to you that you feel healthy? Why does it matter to you that at the end of the day, when you lay your head down on that pillow, that you are proud of yourself? That you know you can rely on yourself, you know you can trust yourself, you know that you show up for yourself just like you show up for everybody else, and that you give yourself that same space to be heard, to be seen that you give to everybody else. But why does that matter? And I think that that's something that we really have to get clear on if we're going to shift out of patterns that maybe we've had for a really, really long time. There has to be that personal investment and clear reason why this is valuable to you so that you're willing to do what it takes to shift this, right? Healing is that pattern interruption and replacing it with something that's nourishing for you. So, what we're going to do today is we're going to practice something called emotional freedom technique, also known as tapping. I love this practice. It really is a mind body practice, a somatic practice. It helps us not only rewire our mind, but also start to rewire our body. It helps lower cortisol, so it lowers the stress response. And in that can help us with our, when done consistently, when we have these practices that help us balance our nervous system over time, can help with our immunity, can help with our overall stress response, can shift us out of that survival mode into a place where we feel in flow, into a place where we feel balanced and we feel really ourselves, right? And can support in reducing anxiety. This can help with cravings. This can help with fears that are showing up. I love EFT. Can you tell? I love this practice. I have so many amazing stories, testimonies of clients that I work with. So if this is something that's resonating with you and you want a one-on-one session, it's really helpful because we can be more specific. We can really cater this uniquely to you. Today's going to be a general practice, but it's still going to be helpful. And what we're going to focus on is shifting you out of these feelings of overwhelm, out of this place of self-pressure, out of this place of feeling stressed, to a place where you feel supported, to a place where you have some space, you have physical space in your body to navigate what you need to do. And you also have the mental capacity, emotional capacity to say, okay, here's the next step here. And you know what? Everything's going to be okay. And that's something that I also love about emotional freedom technique is it opens us up to this greater perspective, because when we're stressed, remember, when emotions are high, when we're in overwhelm, intelligence is low. So EFT allows us to access that greater wisdom, that greater intelligence. Also, one of the studies that I found showed that EFT can reduce our cortisol up to 43%. Like this is huge, y'all. And this is a free practice. This is a practice that you can do pretty much anytime, anywhere. You might catch me in my car, heading to see a IV client, heading for public speaking where I'm feeling some anxiety and I'm tapping and I feel so much better. So I'm going to show you the pressure acupressure points. Then we're going to go through the practice. And I'm going to encourage you to join me. If you just watch me over there at your house or wherever you are listening to this, you're not going to get the benefit that you're going to get when you actually fully engage in this practice. So let's go ahead and start with a couple deep breaths. If you're comfortable to do so, you may even close your eyes. Feel your feet on the ground. Feel the support under your body. And imagine on the next exhale, you just sink a little more fully into your body, into this moment. Take a deep inhale, expand the lungs, and then exhale out through the mouth. One more time, deep inhale. Full exhale. Taking your time. So I'm going to show you the acupressure point, and then we're going to begin the practice. You don't need any experience here. If you are tapping in a different spot than I mentioned, not a big deal. You can't mess up this practice. This is your body, and I want you to just intuitively trust what feels right to you. So we're going to start tapping on the pinky side of the hand, but underneath the pinky, I like to use 4 fingers, but you could do a couple fingers here. Then we're going to move to the eyebrow point. So we're going to move up here, and you can do both if you'd like, or maybe just one, but make sure you're at the beginning of the eyebrow there. We're going to do the side of the eye. Don't poke yourself in the eye here. You have glasses, you need to take them off. I'm going to do under the eye on the cheekbone. Sometimes I'll do 3 fingers here, sometimes just 2. Again, it's your body. You get to decide how you tap on yourself. We're going to go underneath the nose here, that little groove. We're going to do underneath the chin here. We're going to do the collarbones. I like to tap both collarbones, but you could just tap one, but that's the little bones right here. You do your whole palm too if you like. We're going to do under the armpit if you wear a bra in that area. I do the whole hand here. And then we're going to do the top of the head. And then we'll go back through to the eyebrow point. So some things that I want to say is that you can repeat what I say to yourself. If you're at home by yourself, maybe say it out loud. If you can say it silently, or you can just listen to my voice, or a combination. You can have your eyes open, or you can have your eyes closed. And you can't mess this up. I already told you that. I want you to bring into your awareness something that's been causing feelings of overwhelm, something that's been stressing you out. And when you think about this, I want you to just notice how it feels in your body, maybe the thoughts that are already coming up, maybe the emotions. And on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being this is the most intense thing that you're dealing with right now, I want you to rate this. So don't pick anything that's a 8, a 9, or a 10, because we're not one-on-one with each other. We're practicing separate. I don't want this to upset you. But I want you to pick something that's, mild to moderately stressing for you. And it could just be generalizes too. Sometimes it's not any one specific thing. And I want you to rate it. I want you to rate it, 10 being the most intense, 0, we wouldn't even be talking about it. And so we're going to check in at the end and see how you feel about this. So go ahead, uncross your ankles if they're crossed, sit up nice and tall. I'm going to invite you to close your eyes, really feel those feet on the ground. Inhale, shrug the shoulders up towards the ears. Exhale, drop the shoulders down. Breathe out. 2 more times. Deep inhale. Full exhale. One more time. Deep breath in. And deep breath out. Saying to yourself, I take full responsibility for my life and my well-being. I take full responsibility for my life and my well-being. We're going to start tapping on the pinky side of the hand. Even though I've been feeling overwhelmed. I'm open to shifting this, even though I've been feeling stressed out. I love, honor, and respect myself. Even though things have been feeling stressful, I'm open to reclaiming my peace, coming to the eyebrow point, bringing into your awareness that thing that's been stressful, side of the eye, and getting in touch with how it's affecting you underneath the eye. Maybe it's affecting you physically. Maybe you feel it in your body, in your neck, your sleep, your stomach. Just noticing, how does this affect you physically underneath the nose, and how does this affect you mentally underneath the bottom lip? And just see if you can be aware of this without judging it. This overwhelm doesn't need any judgment. Coming to the collarbone points, saying to yourself, my feelings are valid and my feelings hold really important information. This experience has something to teach me underneath the armpit. And just noticing any things that you do or don't do when you're feeling this stress or where you're feeling overwhelmed. Top of the head. And just know and remind yourself that we're designed for survival. Coming to the eyebrow point. And so there's nothing wrong with you, side of the eye, but you are ready to shift this situation under the eye, reminding yourself, I take full responsibility underneath the nose for my life and my well being underneath the bottom lip. I deserve to feel okay. Coming to the collarbone points. I don't have to have it all figured out underneath the armpit. In fact, it's absolutely impossible for me to have it all figured out. Top of the head. But of course, I'm going to try to figure it out and have a plan and do what I can that's under my control. Back to the side of the eye. But I'm learning that I can let go, side of the eye, to the things that are not in my control underneath the eye. That what's most important to me underneath the nose is that I find peace underneath the bottom lip. And to do so, coming to the collarbone points, I'm going to need to let go of some of this pressure that I've put on myself underneath the armpit. So I let go of the pressure, top of the head, and I accept myself as I am, eyebrow point, and I know that I'm doing the best that I can. Side of the eye. This is my first time in life navigating this exact experience underneath the eye. And it's okay for me not to have it all figured out underneath the nose. And it's also okay for me to say yes to myself underneath the bottom lip. And sometimes that might feel uncomfortable in the beginning, coming to the collarbone points, but I know that I deserve my own attention, my own care, my own thoughtfulness underneath the armpit. And I'm proud of myself for being honest with myself, top of the head, and being willing to explore these feelings of overwhelm. Back to the eyebrow point. And I let them go. I'm already feeling more peaceful about this side of the eye. And I know that there's support available for me underneath the eye, that there's people that love me and care about me underneath the nose, and that I don't actually have to do this all on my own underneath the bottom lip. So I'm going to choose from this moment forward, coming to the collarbone points, to find peace in the present moment. And I allow myself to just keep coming back right here to this moment underneath the armpit, taking some deep, slow breaths, beginning to feel into your body. Just noticing that in this moment, everything is okay. Top of the head. I'm grateful to choose inner peace. I feel calm, centered, and at home. And then you can go ahead and stop tapping. You might close your eyes. Coming back to some slow, deep breaths in and out. Taking your time. There is no rush. There's plenty of time for that which is most important to you. Taking a moment to honor yourself for showing up today and knowing that anytime you can return to this practice. If your eyes are closed, you can open your eyes and then check in. What's the level of intensity now for this thing that was on your mind? Perhaps now it doesn't seem as charged. Perhaps you gained some insights. Perhaps you reconnected to your inner strength, your inner wisdom, that you can navigate this, that there is support, that you do have the choice to take that full responsibility for yourself, for your well being, for your life. Thank you so much. If you enjoyed this video, please go ahead and hit the like, subscribe, heart button, and I'll talk to you soon.